All right, so that's our strategic research and innovation agenda. We call it roadmap on our side, and the additional topics of interest. So, as said, we have this CELTIC core group and the community members, and together we elaborate this document, which is leading the next 4 years of what we are looking at. But this is, of course, at everything that is stamped with a time stamp, it can evolve. So that means that if in the meantime there are new topics of interest and so on, we are happy to see them in applications. So this is just a main direction, but we accept, of course, things that are outside, if they make sense. So as I explained already, we have those cooperation with CGIA and with ESA to look at the roadmap, the calls, and so on, which leads us to have, let's say, in the roadmap, we have basic technologies that we want to see developed. So this is the technology level. So we have our core group and the community co-defining those areas of technology. So upcoming 5G releases new and improved features, including for verticals, cybersecurity and resilience, beyond 5G, 6G technology systems and systems of networks, quantum technologies. So back to the topic just raising the question, AI and big data for use for ICT and ICT support for AI and big data, automated and automation network management, operations and technologies, synchronization and time phase accuracy technology and distribution networks, network assisted high precision geolocation technologies and sensing. So for example, sensing is a topic coming a lot with 6G, but you can start earlier, and this is part also of geolocalization and timing. For example, critical communications for critical verticals and utilities, more and more important nowadays. Shareable and monetizable, tradable ICT, active neutral hosting and multidimensional recursive slicing, for example, industrial and private networks, dynamic and automated shared spectrum management, optical and electromagnetic waves-based WANs spectrum, consumer IoT and industrial IoT, 3D conversions with SATCOM and IoT, 5G, 6G in edge SAT beyond backhaul capabilities. And the CELTIC ICT cluster support to digital society, and this digital society can be found in different fields of application, like the digital education, the cybersecurity and the resilience of the society, the digital life itself, the smart home, personalization and quality of experience for each user, connected and autonomous vehicles, e-health and care, smart transport, smart manufacturing, smart cities, smart agriculture, digital enterprises, future financial and fintech services, and sustainability and energy efficiency. And you see some of those topics are common with our friends from the other clusters, where we look at the systems and we look at the services and the communications for those topics. But this is not exhaustive. You have more in the document, but there are some kind of good examples of how it is built up or on the top. In the document, you will find such things like the future needs of the end users, for human-centered technologies and services, for an augmented life experience, like digital divide elimination, smart regions, cities, buildings, homes, smart transportation, smart tourism, and so on. Full industrialization and support of vertical industries, digital enterprises, private networks for smart manufacturing, smart logistics, smart agriculture, and so on. Futuristic use cases like holographic teleportation, world real-time synchronous digital twin, meaning you are having a digital twin that is completely connected with the physical world and can, like real-time, look at options, reconfiguration, and propagate in the real world. Then you have the main technical areas of research, so ubiquity and pervasiveness, urban, suburban, down to rural, into the home, for education and remote working, one identity for seamless experience, smart regions, cities, buildings, homes, dynamic capacity following people's seamless mobility, in normality, in crisis, pandemics, major climate events, very actual, highly precise positioning, edge computing, open RAN, vRAN, slicing, and so on, automation, reliability, transparency, cognitive operations, ICT supporting large and intense AI ML deployment for verticals, and the use of AI for the telco, the ICT world itself. Protection and trust, cybersecurity, identity management, holographic transportation, real-time and synchronous digital twins, so like holographic meta teleport, multi-sense networks, time-engineered applications. The next one, I won't read all of those ones, sorry. My PowerPoint is playing crazy. One only, okay. Technology, enabling technologies that have to be mastered in the future years. Beyond 5G, from 5G to 6G, you have a bunch of information there. Wired and wireless industrial ICT, ICT critical infrastructures as a utility, the critical connectivity grid. Space dimension enabled 5G, beyond 5G, 6G. So this is mainly the NTN TN convergence, so non-terrestrial networks, terrestrial networks convergence topic, distributed on smarter networks, the deeper edgification, multi-purpose adaptable networks, universal adaptive core, programmable network operating systems, advanced very large scale monitoring for AI, ML, distributed learning and so on. Distributed AI, ML, electromagnetic spectrum, and so on. So there is a lot of topics that are covered in the roadmap. So you see, we enable the bottom up because we are covering nearly every topic of the ICT field, and we are looking at all verticals. We are not segregating verticals by, let's say, trendy information. We are looking at supporting all verticals of the economy and the social world, so that ICT becomes really pervasive in all fields of life and supporting all fields of life. Additional topics for this year: non-terrestrial networks and terrestrial networks convergence. Since the adoption of a new role or better roles for satellites in the 3GPP, this is an important topic and moving fast, and also because there's quite an advanced competition coming from the States with very well-known constellation and so on. We in Europe have now to work faster, and one of the ideas for doing that is to let ESA community, so the non-terrestrial networks guy of Europe, including Canada and so on, work more intensively with the terrestrial network people, so the CELTIC community mainly, and having a better understanding on how to advance things faster. So this is why we are preparing the flagship, but we are happy to have projects already in the bottom-up calls before the flagship comes, because those projects that are treating that aspect will have a chance to cooperate with the flagship, because there will be working groups where they will be able to take part and exchange information with the flagship. Digitalization of the economy thanks to ICT technologies. I think this is global enough and clear to go. Clean growth. So how to use ICT to help the growth of the society in a clean way. And starting with the fact that telecom infrastructure should not have a higher carbon footprint. Remote health and care, very important, very often in projects, because if you get the possibility to remote connect your patients and to monitor them, of course, it's a big advance instead of seeing their status every month or 3 months or whatever. So remote health and care, and also for care, keeping people home longer is better from an economical point of view, and also for them, because they are not moving to an unknown place and so on. So as long as you can do it safely, technologies should support that. ICT for Industry 4.0 and logistics, clear. Cyber-physical systems, interconnection, network, programmability of production chain and lines, digital twins for industry, logistics, looking at the positioning of goods, location tracking, monitoring, and so on. So very different topics in this field. Critical comms for emergency and rescue services. So first of all, when the network is still there, how to move a capacity to certain services, how to make it, and that's the next topic, I will come back to it, but also providing the network, an ad hoc network when there is a catastrophe and the telecom network is itself down. And we are starting to look at this aspect also in a Eureka global fashion, because we have Turkey as chairmanship for this year of Eureka, and they have proposed to have a working group on how to manage catastrophe. So CELTIC will participate to that, and if we can get projects showing how to manage that and so on, that will be a great input to Eureka and to countries like Turkey, Greece, Spain, and so on. Critical infrastructures and cybersecurity. The electronic grid, the gas distribution networks, the water distribution networks are critical infrastructure, the roads, and they need more and more sensing devices being connected, reliable actioners, and so on. So how you make telecom systems itself a critical infrastructure, cyber secure, resilient, and so on, and provide those cyber secure and resilient services to secure and make resilient the other critical infrastructure networks, like those I named. Open RAN, big hype, but also big reality. There are very different aspects in Open RAN that need to be inspected, checked, verified, like energy consumption, is it really worse? Economic models, comparing with legacy networks, what is the RIC capable of? How can you, but it's also included in AI for ICT networks below, but how do you really gain efficiency with Open RAN, reduce costs, carbon footprint, increase the panel of services that you can provide through an Open RAN compared with a legacy RAN, and so on. So very important topic, and very important for the UK, for example. They want to invest a lot in this topic. So, for example, projects in the UK touching Open RAN and cooperation around Open RAN are welcomed. But these things will be explained more in details in the proposals brokerage day in 1 month, less than 1 month. Private networks, also a big topic. 5G deployments have proven to be slower than foreseen. One of the potential success stories for 5G networks is now private 5G networks. I personally worked on a project in the UK for this. There is lots of work in private networks, because replacing a cabled process in a factory, for example, with radio, with delays or low delays, but still delays, the resiliency of the transmission and so on. There are many promises by 5G and even more, most probably in 6G, and this has to be tested, proven in private networks experiments, developments, and just introducing a wireless component in a proven manufacturing or existing manufacturing process is not an easy task. projects around that are welcomed because they will provide an input to the development of 5G Advanced and 6G, even if there are many occasions where and many groups that are working on this. For me, it's still an open field. And in the opposite direction, helping designers of industry processes to take into account the wireless component of their industry facility is also important, and this is done via private networks. So that's a big topic. AI for ICT and networks, including radio massive MIMO, open RAN RICs, and so on. So how you best use AI in ICT and networks. I have just put some ideas about the radio, but this is valid for the core, this is valid for the transport network, and so on. That's an end-to-end approach that needs to be done. We have a lot of information about AI in management of networks and making resilient and cyber secure through the AI-Net flagship, but this is not finished. I mean, they have done a great job and they are doing a great job, but it's such a large topic that there is more place for innovation still in this. Consumer IoT and industry IoT, clear. ICT technologies for metaverses. I'm not speaking of helping Meta to be successful with their virtual reality things. I'm speaking about ICT technologies for metaverses, or plural, but meaning industry metaverses in the factory, for example, or a metaverse for bank, a metaverse for different verticals that might have a good use of metaverse in terms of B2B. Of course, projects that are looking at B2C or B2B2C are also welcomed, but really it is kind of logical connection with the other topics like industry IoT, industry 4.0. So those ICT technologies for metaverses, faster comms, larger bandwidths in the data center, and so on, how to manage that. And finally, 5G Advanced and 6G topics, more technology level ones, looking at sensing, location, combining sensing and communication, all the topics that you can find in 5G Advanced and 6G topics. Of course, again, we are supporting the full roadmap, we are supporting those topics, but if something is not listed there, as long as your project is having a good impact or a great impact, sorry, you have all chances to be funded as well. Of course, this is linked to national funding. It has also to convince national funding authorities that it is worth to invest in that technology that you are proposing or that service and so on. So you have to be clear in your proposal.